Ferrari, John Clear. He's the bald one. Welcome, Doc. Okay, so first of all, I think all people here will be interested in knowing directly from you how the day went.
If you follow F1 regularly, you'll know that the Fridays are a little bit difficult to read. Everybody's doing different things with fuel levels, with tyres. We're just doing our homework effectively. We're not showing our full pace. We're not showing our full anything really. We want to leave a little bit under wraps, but that's the same for everybody. So we've just been looking at the tyres, seeing what condition they get into, seeing how many laps they can do, what sort of degradation they create, so how much slower they go as they get older. And obviously preparing ourselves a little bit for qualifying. So the quickest lap times you see today for everybody are, in their sort of quality trim. It's low fuel, it's qualifying tyres, and it's not quite full engine power, but near enough. So that's a representative look at where the pace is. We've had a good day. We've had a few issues on Seb's car with an electrical issue, but we recovered from that. He went out and set the third quickest time, which was not a perfect afternoon for him, so we can certainly go quicker than that. So all in all, a reasonable day.
So, by comparison to last year, a massive difference seems to be in the traffic surface this year. Trucks been completely resurfaced. I heard some of the drivers' comments. So, does it really look different in terms of setting on the car as well?
It does. It used to be really, really bumpy, particularly in braking areas of some of the corners. And you have to deal with that. These cars run very low, and as you see the sparks coming out from underneath, they're always touching the ground. And we want to run them as low as possible. Aerodynamically, that's a real benefit. But when it's bumpy, it's a compromise. You try and get them as low as possible, but obviously when they hit the bumps, the wheels come off the ground. So that's a big problem. So this year, much smoother. A lot of those bumps have disappeared. We can get the car a lot lower. We can benefit a lot more from the aero forces on the car. But again, that's the same for everybody. Everybody will be experiencing that as well. Will be lowering their cars, getting more out of the aero. The surface is different. There's a little bit less grip, ironically, than last year. It's a brand new asphalt. It's got a little bit more oil in it because it's new. The reason the lap times are quicker than last year is because a lot of the curbs are much smoother. So actually the drivers are taking a shorter line around the track because they can take a lot of those curves. So that's where the lap time benefit comes from.
And finally, before we proceed to our lap intro, we all know that you joined Ferrari at the beginning of this year, and I just introduced you to head of trackside operations. So will you just explain to our guests here, apart from consuming huge amounts of espresso macchiato, what does the job consist of?
Again, if you're avid fans of F1, then you're used to watching what's going on outside there at the moment. You're used to seeing pit crews and garages full of mechanics. We bring about 60 people to the circuit who are working directly on the car. There are about 1,300 back at the factory. So my biggest job is to translate all that stuff that comes from the factory to what we do here on Saturday to Sunday and Friday. But also, more importantly perhaps, is to translate all the feedback from the aerodynamicists, from the drivers, back to those 1,300 people back at the factory so they know what's going on. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of those guys who don't go to races any more than you do. They probably have done less races than some of